Hi, this is Karen O'Brien from FLO 2D Software, and I wanted to do a short video on how to get QGIS ready for FLO 2D. Let's go ahead and start. So for your FLO 2D plugin, you're going to need some external modules or some extra modules to work with some of our processors. Those modules are not native to QGIS. So let's go ahead and take a look at their download system. So one of the things that you don't want to do when you're working with QGIS is you don't want to use these standalone installers because they don't come with those extra modules, and it's really difficult to add those extra modules if you're using these two versions. So what we want you to do is we want you to use the network installer. So if you click on this link, it's going to download a executable right here in my download folder. Let me grab download. I'm going to go in here in the AFM workshop, and I downloaded that right here. And so you'll run that and start through this process. We want to use advanced install. And now if you have the time and you are not pressed for time and you know you want extra modules that we're not going to offer through our local installer, you'll use install from internet. But if you're doing a workshop with us, you might want to install from local directory, and that's what I'm going to do. Because what I've done for my clients and for my workshops is I've built a local package that I take to my workshops that are a lot faster and easier to install. But they do still require admin rights in most cases. And I'm going to talk about that as we go. So you can see here, this is your root directory. This is where you want to install QGIS so that you or others on your computer can use it. Now, if only you want to use it, just go ahead and put it in your local directory. But if you want other people on your computer to use it, just take all of this out and just put it on the root C directory. So that would be essentially just taking out all of this stuff right here. All right. I also like to create a desktop icon that gives me, hold on a second, this guy right here. So I like to use that desktop icon. And let's see, where were we? Sorry. And then this one is ready to go. Go ahead and click next. This is the local package. So because I chose local package, that means I need to point my, I need to point right here. I know I'm not pointing right there, but if I was in the workshop, I would be pointing right here. I'm pointing to another one that's on my computer because I know that it works. Then we'll click next. And now this is the part that gets a little, I guess it's not that it's confusing, it's just not intuitive. Okay. So you will expand this desktop installer. Now, if you're installing from my local directory, you'll only get 3 of these. And this is going to say something like install, skip, delete, or I think it'll be uninstall, skip, delete, or keep. You're probably going to see install, and you want to make sure that you're seeing these numbers. So go ahead and click this button until you start seeing these numbers show up for all 3 of these. Now, if you're installing from the network, from online, you're going to see a whole bunch of things. So you're going to just carefully find these 3: GRASS, QGIS, LTR, and QT5 tools. You probably don't need GRASS or QT5 tools, but as you become more proficient with this process or with this software, those actually might become relevant to you. Now, libraries are also important, and these are the extra modules that I was talking about that you need to get this system to work for you. So the first is H5Py. So that is an HDF Python processor, and you need that library. So just make sure that you are installing version 3.10 or whatever comes up. And the next one is pandas. And again, pandas, make sure that you are installing pandas. And I also gave you GeoPandas if you want it. You might not use GeoPandas, but it's excellent for processing shape files and things on the back end. So it's quite fun to have, and I do use it on other workshops that I offer. The next one is, let's see, NetCDF4. And as you can see, go ahead and get that one. And then networkx. So there are about 4 or 5 of these extra libraries that you need to use Flow 2D. H5Py is for Python, is for HDF5 processing. Pandas is for, it does really good with parsing data, so we use it to parse data for multiple domains. NetCDF4 is used to process rainfall data, real-time rainfall data that comes in the package of NetCDF. And the final one is networkx, and so we do network connections when we connect to internet and download data from the internet. We use networkx to help with those internet connections. Okay. Next is that, well, once you're finished with that, you're going to click the next button, and some things are going to happen that you're not going to see on mine because I have already installed all of this stuff. So what you're going to see on this screen is QGIS needs, in order to install what you've asked QGIS to install, you're going to need all of these extra modules in addition to that. So click yes to install all of those extra modules. And then you're probably going to need to accept license agreements for a handful of things. And then the final thing will be to start the installation. And at that time, you'll start to see progress bars up in this area showing you that the software is being installed. And once all of that is complete, you'll click finish, and that will cancel the process. So I'll click finish. Now, what I want you to do, just if you use the local installer, what I want you to do right away is just to run that again. And whoops, sorry, wrong one. I apologize. Run that again. And then this time I want you to use install from internet and just work through the exact same process. And that will just ensure that you got everything you need. And you might see that your installer adds a little bit more to your computer at that time. I'm going to cancel out of that. So that's the easiest and fastest way to install QGIS on your computer. Now, once you get it installed on your computer, you'll also have access to this shell tool, which is basically a little command window processor that lets you do all kinds of fun things, on the back end of QGIS. So I'm going to hit the command O-help, and that will tell you all of the things that you can do with this shell processor. In addition to all of these things, you can do other things, just standard Windows command, like such as change directory, rename files, move files, copy files, all that kind of stuff. And if you connect it to other processors that also use shell tools, you can use this shell tool to work through those other processors too. You just have to add it to their path. Now, what can this processor do that you might find helpful? It can pip install Python modules. So now if I do pip install rasterio, I did that wrong. That will go onto the internet and grab the rasterio processor from Python and put it where it needs to be on our computer. See, it's going to put it inside our Python, but inside OSGEO4W. So then our paths are all working for that function. Now, if that doesn't work for you, because you're not your own computer admin, you're going to get an error message. So if that happens, you come here, right click, and run as administrator. Get your admin to enter their admin password right on this window or on that next window. And now you have an administrator shell that you can use to pip install that software. Okay. So that is how you get QGIS ready for Flow 2D and for working with Flow 2D projects. If you have any questions or you get stuck in any of this, or you just want to check your system, go ahead and give me an email. We'll set up a meeting and we can do this together. If you do need an email, if you do need a tech support meeting to set all this up, please get your IT on the meeting too, so we can get their help with their administrative passwords. So I thank you, and I hope to see you at the next video, because I think that that's everything we need to do at this time.